Welcome to episode 39 of the Awkward Tapes, a podcast where awkward friends have awkward conversations about awkward things. Today we're very excited to have a guest on. He's done a lot throughout his career thus far, and he is also Zach and our audio guy Noah's professor, or former professor at this point. So Zach, I'll let you go ahead and take it away.
Yes, sir. Not only have you graduated from Berklee College of Music, you've had the wonderful chance to work with artists like Logic, J. Cole, Wiz Khalifa. You've toured with them. You went to Spain for a short span of your life, and honestly, we're just really excited to have you here, man. This is Elliot Sabah, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Well, generally the way we like to crack these off is we crack these off, man.
Yeah, that's a way.
That's a way of
Okay.
saying it. So we have a Presley thought. So you want to start us off, man?
I'm sorry in advance for these, Elliot.
Yeah, dude. They can be a bit cringy.
We used to do a lot more of these per episode.
We do like 5 or 6.
Make it awkward.
This one is especially for you.
Ooh.
Sound is just wiggly air.
Ooh.
True.
True.
Yeah?
You know, that's what you've told us throughout the years. I say years as if I've known you for years.
No, for at least 10 years.
I know. He says that
Exactly.
he's been here for 10 months, and you're like, man, I've known him for years and years.
It feels like that. It feels like I've known it for a long time.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
a little too long or
No, not yet.
Evan, what do you think about that wiggly air?
Yeah, no, compared to other Presley thoughts, that one's pretty tame, but no, I agree with it. I like it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that one's not too bad. What was the... Well, I can't remember. You've had some terrible ones. That was not too bad.
hey.
Yeah, man.
Come on now.
Even
Come
the
on,
bad
some of
ones are
them have
good
been
ones.
awful.
Come on.
Absolutely awful.
Let's see what worse he has. Do you have any more lined up? Come on, give me a terrible one.
Well, the one from the last
Let's go.
Last episode.
No, it
the
wasn't
last
the
one.
last one. It was the one
one after
this.
this.
One
after.
I guess technically when they air. You never see
You're
a
gonna
mailman.
Hold on. You're going to ruin the one for next week.
So
Do an
hey,
older,
this
old
isn't
one.
the same one.
Lasagna is just spaghetti flavored cake.
That's a good one, not a bad one.
I think you showed me a clip of that, Zach.
Yeah,
That
man.
Probably.
I think that's our most popular video.
Yeah,
I
although,
believe.
what do you have to say about dogs? Why do they lick us, Presley?
Here's
Dogs
the
lick us because they can taste the bones beneath our skin.
You're kidding me, right?
That was what we thought. We still can't believe
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, yeah. There you go, Elliot. That's how we kick it off. Just get the awkwardness going.
Yeah.
You know the plunger idea that you guys had before we started?
Oh,
What if we
yeah.
did? What if we did peanut butter on the top of his head,
Get a
and
dog
then
in
just
here.
let a dog,
A guy?
lick it?
A guy?
Hey, either one. I'll do it.
We get Caleb in here?
Yeah. Caleb, shout out to you.
Shout out to Caleb Void with 3 eyes.
Right. Well, thank you
sir.
guys for coming back. We got a lot for you. This is gonna be a fun episode. Thank you for coming back for episode 39, and prepare yourself for a session of awkwardness. All right, so Elliot, if you don't mind, just for the people that don't know who you are, just kind of explain what you do and maybe how you got to this point.
So I'm a DJ first and an engineer second, I feel. I spend my time, I guess, historically DJing for artists and concerts. And I spent about 15 years doing radio. And I got into mixing and mastering and all that kind of stuff. I think really because I like gear, right? Like
Yeah.
I like gear, and I wanted to find something to like I wanted to find another rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah.
And engineering was really an endless, bottomless pit. One, for my wallet, and two, for my nerdiness. So I think, so I engineer and DJ and do radio and concerts and that kind of fun stuff.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, obviously we're the awkward tapes, and because we feel like we're all awkward in like our own way, everyone, and somewhat we feel like. But okay, so you've
There's Exhibit A.
You guys know about the awkward turtle? Remember that from middle
what?
school? Awkward turtle? or awkward
dude.
turkey or whatever?
Yep.
Maybe.
No. This is a thing. I remember that. It was a thing that you do in school that anytime anyone would do something awkward, you just sit here and do this.
You don't remember that?
No.
You guys not have a childhood?
Well,
No,
we were
We
homeschooled.
were homeschooled.
I was.
Everyone homeschool?
I'm the only normal one here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
did you
that's the
form?
one. Public school.
Public school. You know.
Okay, I guess.
So what was it?
Yeah.
It was like
Okay, but the thumbs have to go the opposite way. So that,
Oh,
and then
okay.
there's turkey. I think thumb out, and it's I don't know some weird
Yeah.
awkward thing like
No,
that.
it pretty much goes in tune with us for sure. But anyway, Shmev, you were saying.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So Zach mentioned you've gotten to work with a bunch of big time artists and things like that. So have you had any just like any that stand out? Any awkward moments with some artists?
Anything that might stand out as like, man, I never want to talk about that again. But here you are, so we're gonna force you to talk about it.
That's a really good question that I probably don't have a great answer for. I guess one of my first big shows was for Twista, and you know,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, probably 14. So my dad was there, sitting in the audience, and he stood next to these two dudes, and one of the dudes turned out to be the promoter, and he was like, man, he's pretty good for a white kid. So like, and that was like the start of my career. So I
Man.
think that's how it all started. Outside of that, yeah, I have stories, but I'm probably not going to be able to recall them on the
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's totally fair. So for those that don't know, mixing and mastering, I mean, obviously me and Noah know because we're audio engineers, but I mean, for the people out there that don't know, what does that entail?
Okay, so like when you listen to something on the radio, right, historically or whatever, it sounds polished and clean, and there's effects, and everything is like really consistent and balanced. All that has to be done, right? Someone has to produce that. Like I think the equivalent is like, think about you shot something on your phone or shot a video. Does it look like a movie that you see in the theater? No, a lot of post work comes.
Yep.
That's really where the engineer side of it comes. It's like the nerdy. How do we change something raw and turn into something presentable?
Totally, man. Yeah, totally cool.
How did you kind of realize that's what you wanted to do? Like, because you're a lot of times, behind the scenes, and how did you figure out you wanted to do that instead of, being more,
Like an artist or a DJ or
Yeah,
something, I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
Well, I was always like doing the DJ thing. So I was like always on stage, still am. But then like the studio just looked so cool. And I just wanted to sit in front of a console when I was
Yeah,
a kid. And, and people would be like, do you really want to be a studio rat? And I was like, do I really want to like never get a tan? Yeah. Like,
right?
bring it on. It's just cool. It's just so nerdy. You know what I mean? Like it's like the opposite. Like going out and DJing is fantastic and it pays phenomenally
I bet.
in comparison. And then audio engineering is like a cool thing to do during the day.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have a cup of coffee and not be in a blaring venue all the time.
Right.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
So I know, like Zach, for instance, he has like a bunch of audio pet peeves, like a cable that's super twisted up. Do you have
Yep.
any like pet peeve or just anything that really gets on your nerves that maybe audio engineers do or artists do when they're using equipment or anything like that?
I hate people standing on cables.
Ooh, that's
I
a
hate,
good one.
I hate badly wrapped cables. What else don't I like? I've complained to you guys. What do I not like?
Gosh, like really annoying artists, I'm sure is one. I'm
Yeah.
sure you've ran into a few.
Or the like wanting a million revisions. Well, that's what we call like changes to songs, right? Like I want,
Oh, yeah.
can I get this up, this down, this. Like mix 19, I'm like basically wanting to like off myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Because like when you work with those artists, I'm sure that they are really picky about their music and always feel like they know what the better change is, but they don't know that you were the one who went to school and you studied how to make all of the polishing done. So I'm sure that can be very aggravating.
You know what? It's honestly like the bigger artists, like the artists on labels and stuff, like they ask for like a change or two. And then it's a new artist who asks for like 100,000 changes.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? Because
That's
they
fair.
don't know what they want and they're trying stuff. But the problem is they're trying stuff on your clock
Yep.
and you're wasting your weekend while they're hanging out drinking with their friends.
Yep.
And then it becomes this thing of like, well, maybe should I limit them? Do I charge them per revision? Do I charge them hourly? How do I make this worth my time? Because my hourly wage is going down every hour and every minute I'm working for you.
Yeah, totally.
So you get paid more so, but like by the project itself rather than hourly, or
So like if you're going into record studio time, like you can book a day rate or hourly rate. So that's by the hour. And then some engineers work by the hour as well for mixing or mastering or editing. I work by the project more often just because I'm like, you want this song, I'm going to guess it's going to take this much money or this much time. Here's your invoice. Pay this much.
Totally.
To where I feel like it's not unreasonable, but also like I'm not just sitting there for free or $13 an hour every day.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You ever had anybody give you pushback on that before?
Yeah, it's basically like you get what you pay for. You know, like I pretty much, with a few exceptions, like stick to the price and call it a day. Like if you want the service, it takes this. You know, it's a quality service, or you can go to a cheaper guy or someone else who's more expensive. And I happily give away references for DJing and for engineering. Like I tell, like you know, clients or wannabe clients all the time, like here's other engineers you can go to who are more in your budget. Because the last thing I want to do is like work on someone's thing for not enough money and not be into it and not give them the best product. So if I don't get my value, so I don't feel like I'm being valued, I'm probably not going to give them the best I can, and no one wins.
Yeah.
So I'd rather you go to someone else, stay in your budget, get an appropriate product, and everyone's happy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, that does make sense. Although a different sort of question I had is, I learned that you grew up and you did classical violin. Is that correct? Yeah. So I was curious, what triggered going from classical violin into doing like DJing, and like you've toured with people like J. Cole, Twista, Afro Man, whatnot. Like these aren't exactly classical artists.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious. Like, yeah, I know. Yeah, no. Logic came out. Yeah, with his new classical album. You know, there are
Shared over
harps
D
in the
minor.
background. Yeah, exactly. But no, I'm just curious. What caused you to be like, you know what, I want to do DJing opposed to something else?
I think like when I was younger, like I saw someone or a group play like the like some Christmas show at the Power Center, which is like a venue in Ann Arbor. And I saw like a bunch of violins playing, and this is what my parents told me, so who knows? And they're like, they said, I want to do that, or that's what I said, I want to do that. Okay, fast forward 11 years later, growing up playing Suzuki or whatever, like I'm 11 years old or whatever the age is. Yeah, I want to do something cooler. Like I was like walking through hallways with like a violin case. And in like middle and elementary school, it's not like the coolest thing to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Something cooler. And my dad's like, maybe you should like look at DJing or whatever. And then like I got a pair of turntables, and I just had like amazing mentors. Like it was the adults that had no business and no responsibility teaching me nothing, replying to my messages, like doing anything. This is like MySpace days.
Way back in the day.
Way back in the day. So like it was just a bunch of DJs that like stepped up and just like, you know, showed me the way. You know, Chill Wills, Alvin Hill, DJ Marquise, DJ Knowledge, like
Wow, man.
DJ Cataclysmic, like you name it. Like these guys were just showing me how to get it done.
So
Yeah,
so because now you're a professor, and so
it's really funny.
yeah, and so teaching people audio engineering and whatever else, is that kind of your way of giving back to what they gave to you?
Yeah. So when I was young, like when I was in 7th grade, I started going into this this like teen center called the Neutral Zone, which I now run their studio, and that like I got basically lessons through workshops and met DJ Cataclysmic, and then Alvin Hill, who's a huge lifetime mentor of mine, and yeah, like that allowed me to have the start. And yeah, like I hate school. I hated school my whole life, but I
Not the
loved
only
college
one.
and I loved grad school, and I loved learning things that I was passionate about.
Right.
And if people can go to school or go somewhere and get an education something they're passionate about, it changes your whole mindset about school and education. And yeah, I just like being be able to help other people find that passion.
Right.
Like that's really cool to me, and that's the only reason I'm here. You know, so I feel like I owe that at minimum.
Right.
Yeah, that's totally fair, man.
When you were like growing up, you said like you're 14 and you were working with like some of these artists. What was it like when you were at that age, being around some celebrities or people who were, you know, super famous? Like, did you feel like, oh my goodness, I'm working with Logic or whatever at like such a young age? You ever feel starstruck or?
Yeah. Do you have any like fangirl moments
Yeah.
or family?
I think no, because like for me, like I gave up like my weekends, my after school, like I gave up everything to
You put in the
learn
work.
how to do a skill while all my friends were hanging out. And yeah, like I just tried. I showed up at this radio station and submitted 3 demo tapes, all got denied. And the station manager was like, come back when you're in college. And I was like, all right, cool. So I kept coming back. You know what I mean? Like, and I was this is like 2007 or 8, so I'm like in middle school. You know, I have no reason to be in a radio station.
That's totally cool, man.
Yeah, and then I don't know, I walked like out one day after submitting a demo tape, which eventually got denied, on a cassette, because that's how we make
Yeah.
music,
Yeah.
like physical cassette.
Yeah, man.
And I walked by the store, and this DJ Chill Will, who I've been since doing the prop shop with, which is like the longest running hip hop radio show in the country since 1988, longest running one.
Totally cool.
Yeah, he invited me in for a set and did it. Laptop wouldn't connect to Serato, terrible day.
Oh.
He invited me back a second time after didn't deserve it. Laptop didn't connect, terrible day. Sounded like crap, and I've been coming back ever since.
Wow.
So like,
Wow,
I don't know, just like persistence, and then doing my first big show. My first one was with Twist on the Perfect Storm tour. I don't know. I just went up there and played, and been playing ever since. One gig led to another. No, I don't think any like starstruck moment ever.
Yeah.
Just because like to me this is like everyday life,
Totally.
and I feel like I was blessed enough or lucky enough to have that be my reality when other people are trying to like get a foot into that reality after they gain consciousness of its value.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? And I never like gained consciousness of its value because it just happened from like day one.
So for you,
Grew up in it.
yeah,
Yeah, it just
it was almost like a future reality rather than like a dream you had.
it just happened,
Yeah.
and it never stops.
That's cool.
Yeah, but then people ask like, "What's your advice to get in?" And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just like it just happened for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, what advice do you have? You're like, I don't know, just do it.
Yeah,
You
man.
got to do it, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you sacrificed a lot of time when other people were hanging out, and you're like, nah, I'm working my butt off in here, and I'm making sure I'm doing it. But I'm curious, as a music guy, and you said like you grew up and you went on tour with all these different people. Like, what music do you listen to? Because do you listen to music to where it's like, oh yeah, I listen to you when you go on tour or whatever? You're like, yeah, I like you, but I don't really listen to you too much.
So I'm like traditionally a hip hop head. I listen
Yes.
to hip hop.
There we go. That's my
and-
thing too.
Okay, Zach.
All right. Okay.
Get some peanut butter.
He touched my head.
Now you can't wash your head.
Exactly.
Okay, so I grew up a hip hop head. I wouldn't listen to anything else, basically. And then I went to Berkeley for undergrad in Boston.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's traditionally a jazz school. And I was like, wow, like, this is crazy. Like, it opened my mind to music. And then I took these 2 Berkeley Nashville trips where as a bunch of people from the school, we go with Steven Weber and some folks to Nashville and visit for a week and spend the week at studios and labels and stuff like that. Fell in love with Nashville. And I fell in love with country music. And
No way.
there was no in between. It was like a light switch happened.
Wait,
I was
hold
like,
up.
this is so amazing.
So
Like,
you-
this is
You
like-
have never
and-
told me that.
Well, now you know.
So you went from hip hop to pickup trucks and cornbread, and
Dude, I'm telling you.
your tractor left you.
My track
Your tractor just got up and left.
That's
The
really
coldest
funny.
beer
The
ever.
coldest beer. Like I appreciate some Busch lattes now.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow, Nashville really
Busch
took you over.
lattes.
That was actually going to be one of my questions. Is I didn't know you listened to country, but I'm a
Neither did
I'm
I.
a big country music person. That's kind of just what I grew up on. But I don't. It went through a phase that rap country stuff. I was like, gone. See ya. But I come back to it. So, what's your opinion on today's country music?
Okay, so I know country like someone who's not like a hip hop head knows hip hop. They're like, of course I know Biggie, and of course I know Eminem. You know, that's my level of country.
Okay.
Like I know basic. I'm like a basic girl.
That's fine.
Starbucks drink.
Okay.
Listener.
Well, we're here to listen to your Starbucks drink.
Yeah, that's. So I don't know much in depth. Like Casey Musgraves is dope. Like,
Yeah.
like I could go through a playlist and just
Morgan
be like,
Wallen.
here, like I have a playlist called Country,
Okay.
and it's just like when I find something that's kind of cool,
Yeah.
I add it. I mean,
just
you know country,
surprising.
right?
Yeah.
Turn this up.
Jeez, dude. I've known you all this time now. All this time, 10 years, obviously.
Cobb.
And like,
Swindle.
I did not know that.
It's dope. I like,
Stapleton.
but now I listen to like all types of music. Like you name it, I
Yeah.
listen to it probably.
Okay.
Gotcha.
When it was just hip hop before.
Gotcha. So,
Wow.
wow, I can't talk. Welcome to the Awkward Tapes. But are there any types of music that you're like, nah, I just can't listen to it. I just can't get down with this.
That's a good list. Yeah.
I gotta hear some of those songs.
I've been trying to show these guys country music here recently, but anyway.
Like you could do even a whole episode on like just music, like showing songs and talking about them and hating each other's.
I'm looking at
music
Waylon
recommendations,
Jennings, some John Denver, Kenny Rogers,
Oh,
Rogers.
okay, some older
Fleet
stuff too.
Foxes.
Fleet Fox. I had a roommate back in undergrad who would walk around in his boxer briefs and Tim's, and on Sunday
nice.
morning smoke and listen to Fleet Foxes,
Wow.
and it was such a sight. But I don't know. That's why I like Fleet Foxes.
Golly. So yeah, so
weird.
there's not really any particular music that you say you would never listen to.
Not of like the main. Like I'll listen to like right now I'm like on a pop punk kind of kick, and that's probably because of Machine Gun Kelly's last 2 albums.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, if you want to talk about, he's also like a person that I spent the most time doing. Like I've done the most of his shows, probably of anyone I've ever done. So
Yeah.
like I like him in general as a person, but like
Yeah.
his rock albums, I don't care what you have to say.
Oh wow.
I don't care. They are great.
Yeah.
They are good. They're really really solid, and he's like the most hated artist right now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
after
that's fair.
after the whole kill shot thing with
That was
Oh,
not.
that
I
went
don't. Sorry, bud. If you're watching it, if you ever watch it, I don't think that was the best moment. Like growing up in Michigan, like Eminem's a staple. D12 is like a staple. They come to the radio show all the time. Bizarre and all of them. Like we're all cool. I don't think anyone going up against Eminem is a good idea. So I wouldn't have approved that that battle.
Yeah.
But you're like, we're all losing at some point, and I'm not saying he lost. I'm just saying, I don't know. That wasn't the best
yeah.
idea in my.
I was just saying in terms of the popularity thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's funny how I mean you listen to his rock albums and whatnot, and they're different, but they're not bad. And it almost seems like that's become at least a little bit of a thing among some hip hop artists. Like, have you heard Yellow Wolf's newest album? Like, it's not, or do you know who Yellow Wolf is?
I DJ'd his shows.
Oh, well,
Yeah, well, there you go.
that makes sense. I should have just said, like, have you worked with him? That would have been the better question.
There you
But his newest album, it's completely different from anything he's ever done.
It's like classic rock almost.
Almost, yeah. It's not bad. I like it. It's just very, very different.
Yellow. Let's see what's going on. I did shows of his back in like the trunk music.
Yeah, Trunk
did
music.
Trunk
sort of
music
thing.
days? Man.
Like whenever that was. What's this latest album called?
I forgot what it was.
Sometimes Y or something. Is that it?
I forget exactly. Here, I can pull it up in
Here,
a
sometimes
yeah,
Y.
second. Yeah, I
Okay,
think
I
that's
got
the name of it.
I'll check this out on the way home.
It's pretty bizarre too, because like I've heard a lot of great things about the new album, and then when I heard he had tracked some of it over at Dark Horse, which I don't know, is kind of a whispering around the area, but may or may not be true. I was like, man, like it really feels like all these artists are coming here, even when they're like hip hop heads, you know, and you wouldn't think that Nashville would have that kind of crowd.
But I think he's a country boy. He's from Bama.
Yeah,
That's true.
You
yeah,
know
he
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
is.
Definitely.
Trunk music.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong, I love trunk music. What was Pop the Trunk? I love that
Yeah,
song.
yeah, yeah. I was, honestly, that played maybe on the way here today or yesterday.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I got a question for you because I just thought about this. Me and Presley knew a guy that was he was from New York and really big into music. And
Actually, he's a session artist around here. I knew some of the guys that we've been
really?
working with in the studio know him and Rasand.
I'm talking about someone different.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
talking
my
about
bad.
somebody else
Yeah.
altogether.
Thought you were talking about Roland.
And he kind of, I don't know, he definitely had a better liking towards New York. Like, what do you think about the music scene compared to like from New York and Nashville? Like, what do you prefer? Like, where would you rather be
I
for
think
music?
Nashville has some of the best session players in the world, right? Like in session players versus like performing artists, like in a live setting, a totally different skill, totally different person, totally different player.
Right.
Nashville has some of the best session players and can get the best sounds. I think New York is probably more innovative and the birthplace of hip hop and other things.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
So, just out of curiosity, like we had talked about this before on a previous podcast episode, actually with Noah. We've talked about how technology has changed along with music in the industry and like all of these changes that have been happening. What do you think are some of the good things that you're seeing with how music's changing nowadays and how it's kind of digressed as well?
Accessibility up, quality down.
Okay.
Does quality equal good music? No. But in terms of like recording, because people are doing it at home,
Right. A lot of bedroom guys.
a lot of
though.
bedroom stuff. And like we're hearing like bedroom albums on the radio.
Yeah.
So like you don't even need to necessarily go to a studio to get great sound or great mixes to be able to have a successful record. And that's why we have all these TikTok viral songs, right?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, we're obviously not music, but we definitely credit our success to TikTok as of right now. I mean, TikTok has definitely changed the way I'd say the music industry works for sure.
That's
and I've
true.
heard a lot of whisperings as well in the industry that TikTok is what big record labels are looking at. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I could definitely see it.
I think it's true.
Yeah. Most
Presley?
definitely.
Presley, we haven't heard
Smith?
from you from a while. How you doing?
I can't
Got
see
that
you over
beautiful
there.
beard, like,
Taking this in?
Oh, I'm just taking it all in.
Got any questions?
Well, I did, but he kind of answered that a little bit
okay.
earlier, just for someone wanting to get into it.
Yeah.
I guess your answer really was just be in it all the time.
I mean, I have a better answer to that. Okay, so like, if you want to get into like anything specifically, or like DJing, or just performing or playing, like, doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, I guess DJing more of your
Okay.
profession.
If you want to get into DJing, I think you should like cut out a little bit of socializing time, right? Because like you need to like get ahead of everyone else 1st off, right? You got to be able to play the game and then like for me, like I was like DJing for a bunch of artists and groups. So every time they had a show, guess who also had a show? Your boy. So like if you want to get like get gigs on your own, cool. But then also be everyone's DJ. And then you're DJing all their gigs and their gigs are not your gigs. And that would be a really good way to get in. I think like the traditional route of like DJs trying to be radio DJs, which is like, I feel like I was like the last generation of that. I feel like that's not so big now because a lot of us aren't listening to the radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like
yeah.
those 5 or 6 stations that I do are just, I think, getting less and less hits.
Yeah.
Right? And listens. So I don't know if being the radio DJ is still the way up, like
Right.
what you should look for. But live shows are still happening. And I have friends that are DJing that are like doing streaming for parties and corporate events and concerts from their house.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And they're killing it. They're like making money on Twitch, even though Twitch takes like half the income. So
So
know.
have you ever considered doing anything like that for yourself as far as like streaming and monetizing your DJ?
yeah, I did that during Corona. Like I definitely played shows and stuff
Yeah.
from my living room.
That's so cool.
And it's cool. It's cool.
So like, does that make you any more comfortable considering that you're not in a venue, but you're in your own living room performing?
Yeah, but then you're like relying on like an internet stream, and then like the biggest part about DJing is like reading the crowd.
Yeah.
So like if I can't see what the crowd likes, then I'm having a hard time. So like you need a video feedback, and it's just not the same because then you need room mics to be able to hear them. Like, are they engaging? And then you can't engage with them. Like we do, like as DJs, like we're always like cutting out like the really catchy words or like parts of the song because the audience sings them. Like all those interactive moments are shot,
That's fair.
and you're just playing to an empty void. You know what I mean?
Right.
It seems like it would be a lot more difficult, which is what you just described. Because like, how do you do it?
Yeah. I mean, I love not having to like go to clubs and venues and stuff. Like because I'm lazy, and I've spent so much time in them. Like it's not exciting to me to go to work.
Yeah.
Like the job of DJing is exciting. Getting to the venue, dealing with not awesome people all the time. Like the people are not great all the time. You know, like every show there's someone who's just like you never want to have to deal with again.
All the behind the scenes stuff and the excess baggage that comes with it.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Yeah.
There's so many stories that I could never say on any podcast. Just horrific things.
I can only
it's
imagine.
We'll take your
movie
word.
Status, horrific thing. It's just crazy. It's just craziness. And there's tons of craziness. And I like waking up and having a cup of coffee. You know, it equals less money in my pocket.
Right.
For sure. Like DJing can pay like thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And engineering can pay like, well, a few $1,000s for like an album or more. But so much more work. Like instead of like going to a venue and coming home with a bag, you're like working for like 8, 10, 12 hours every day on this record.
Yeah.
And then you get the same money. It's just a lot more work for less money.
It's something that it seems like you have to be very passionate about in order to to make it a career.
Yeah, and then also like wearing multiple hats. Like if like someone wants to get into DJing or someone wants to get into engineering, like you should wear multiple hats. You should have multiple sources of income. You know, like you should not just be like, I want to engineer and mix music.
Right.
If you can get away with doing that for a lifetime, man, hats off to you.
Yeah.
But the rest of us, right, which is I think everyone else should like do audio for like media, should do live sound, should do this, should like have 6 jobs because they're all going like this. When it rains, it pours. When they're down, it's a drought. You got to have multiple sources of income. Teach if you want, you know, like do a bunch of things. And then it also keeps it fresh. So not every day sitting at your desk. Like
Right.
every day should be like, today I'm teaching, tomorrow I'm doing that, the next I'm doing that.
Doesn't get repetitive.
Yeah. And then if you have a bunch of things, they kind of start to overlap. So like for me, like some days, like I'll wake up, I'll teach, then I'll go do studio sessions, and then I'll go mix a live show, and then I'll go DJ. Or like do like a number of those things. Or like wake up and teach sessions, go do radio. Or like get up and do radio and then go DJ club. Or like it should be some combination
You
of
ever
things.
get burned out on that? How do you stay motivated?
I'm always burned out.
Oh. Okay.
I'm trying to
always
get that
burned
money.
out.
Man.
And the mental health thing, and I just sorry to cut you off, but like
No,
I
you're
also
good.
started like just working out again. I feel like $1 million compared to like how I felt like a month ago. Like I was like a month ago, I was like just dead tired, and I've been that way since like 2015, just like always drained.
Right.
And now like cutting out like 2-3 hours to work out, like has flipped that switch I think in the last month. So maybe that's another hint for people.
Totally.
So is that something that's helped you with the burnout? Like, is that within the last, you said month or two?
Just like maybe over a month.
Just maybe over a month? Okay.
It's yeah, I mean yeah.
Well, that's something a lot of people may not consider is taking care of yourself outside of music, trying to
yeah.
better yourself as a person. Probably gives you a lot more energy for doing the things you want.
Yeah, all these like music people are just like.
Yeah, they're always tired.
Yeah, because like everyone's working hourly. You barely get enough pay. You put in 110% of everything. You give up all your personal stuff for it. Like it's such an investment, and that's why like only like a small percentage of the people who go into it can make it work. Because
Right.
the rest are not willing to like literally give up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a certain type of personality.
Yeah, I think it's like not just me first, but like career first. Everything else comes second. And I feel like it's hard to make it full time and make it successful if you don't do that, unless you're lucky or get some kind of break or something. But
That's
So,
fair.
kind of switching the conversation a little bit. I'm sure Zach has asked you that because he's such a big fan. But I'm just curious too, because you've worked with Logic. I'm just kind of curious as to what he's like, just besides just seeing him on a screen or
Or
something
other
like that.
artists for that matter.
Yeah.
This is my favorite question so far.
did I show you that photo of Logic? I have.
You know,
somewhere
you
here.
had mentioned it, but I don't think I ever saw it.
I wonder if I just type in here Logic, will it like recognize his face?
That would be
So
pretty
cool.
awesome.
It does.
It
Wow.
does?
That's-
No
Oh,
way.
dang.
So you actually have a picture.
So like a show I did with him.
Oh man, this is like his young Sinatra days.
Yeah, this is all young
Oh,
Sinatra
wow.
days. He kissed my girlfriend at the time on the cheek, which was acceptable because he's Logic, and I was sitting right there, and it was fine.
Wait, can you zoom in a little, Zach?
Yeah. So look at that man.
That's
How old are you
Nice.
in this picture?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, he's young.
15, 16.
Camera probably can't see it. We'll see if we can't plug that in later.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome, man.
I took my best friend Miles to that. Shout out to Miles,
Yeah.
one of my best friends.
That's sick, dude.
Logic was probably the nicest artist I've ever been around.
Awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he hung out and we chatted for a while, and yeah, I mean he's a good man.
So being behind the scenes and working with some of these bigger artists, like, do you think that, considering you spent like hours and hours, I'd say probably months at a time on the road, do you think that they'd still be able to pick you out from a crowd if they saw you again?
Yeah, and a lot of those are like at different times, like doing like a week and a half, 2 weeks, or like a day here, day here, day here,
Yeah.
day here, was the vast majority of it. But yeah, a lot of them. I mean, you see more than once, you know them, and if you're good people, then you're good people, and you remember those people.
That's fair.
I can't speak for 100 other people. But
Yeah. I mean, it's really easy. I mean, for a lot of people to like see these celebrities and kind of forget that they're just like us and they're people too.
totally.
And so, when you see them maybe overreacting on something online, or whether it's with paparazzi or whatever else, it's kind of, people forget that we might do the same stuff.
And they're
So-
your age. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
you,
yeah.
you know what's really like
Yep.
crazy is that like thinking like I'm 28 right now, and like a lot of these artists that like our friends look up to are younger than me now.
Yeah.
And just like, I still call my mom for advice. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
they're still calling their mom for advice. You know what I mean? Like, and just putting it into that reality of like, we're all still barely young adult. Like, we're just starting.
Right.
Like, sub 30, you're just getting, like, you're just
Right.
trying to, like, can I walk, man?
Right.
You know what I mean? And they're in the same boat, except for everyone's paying attention to them.
Right.
Totally.
And they have to be more financially responsible than us. Like,
So as far as like the celebrities you worked with, obviously not saying that you were expecting them not to be nice and they turned out to be nice, but were there any that you met and you were kind of just like surprised to how their personality was?
yeah, I'm not going to name them out.
Okay.
Totally.
I'll tell you after this ends, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, some people were just really bad people.
Yeah.
And some people were really nice people.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's surprising too because like we all see what we think their personality is through media. And media, their main goal is to do one thing, and that's make money. In my opinion, at least, it's not about like giving out the most accurate reports or whatever. So I'd imagine you'd probably paint a picture in your head to an extent of like this person's probably not going to be nice from what I've seen. So I'm sure that's cool, at least when they are, and that's pretty surprising.
Yeah, Logic was one of the nicer ones.
Yeah.
That's sick, man.
For sure. But I think it's just such like I mean, I was like in the like hip hop circuit of hip hop concerts and stuff. Yeah, there's both sides. It was craziness as a kid. You know, I was too young probably to be doing any of that stuff.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I guess my parents really had, I guess, maybe some trust in me to be like in high school. You know what I mean? And the craziness of high school, like I was like, because I did radio, it somehow counted for a class every day.
Oh, nice.
Like I would show up at high school like 11 something for one class and then lunch and then leave, or one class lunch and do a class and then leave before last period.
That's awesome.
Like I wasn't having to do full days because of my radio thing counted. Yeah.
And then in the midst of all that too, I know we've talked in the past, you got to play like sports. How did you balance all of that while being able to play a sport?
Okay, so like soccer when I was a kid, but then basketball, and then when I got to high school, like it had to go down because DJing came up. Like DJing and girls and money kind of came up, right? And basketball had to go down, and then also, everyone else kept growing taller,
Oh yeah.
and I realized I wasn't growing taller, so my days as a point guard were numbered.
Man.
And then I also stopped working out, and then, yeah.
Well, from what I've seen when we played our pickup game, you still got some of those skills for sure.
I played yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I went to the gym yesterday and we played, and it was cool. I'm trash now, but
Whenever you're trying to lose, just let me know.
pretty sure I airballed 2-3. So just saying.
Okay. It happens to the best of us.
Touch the net.
You touching that? Oh yeah, not a real
Is it a double rim? Did you get the double
No,
rim?
it was a single. It was indoors.
Oh,
It was all
okay.
good.
All right, good.
Oh, yeah,
good.
double rim are the
Double
worst.
rim.
Those are definitely the
That's
worst.
how you know you're good.
yeah,
You can
but-
play ball on double.
Yeah, but I think we'd be missing a big opportunity if we didn't ask anything about Spain, because you were able to spend some DJing time in Spain and just experience it. Period. Was it Valencia, Spain?
Yeah, I
Is
was
that-
living in Valencia.
in Valencia. Yeah, just like what brought you to Spain? I mean, I know you went to Berkeley there, but what led from going to Boston to Spain, or like what was your time there?
So when I was at Berkeley, Boston, I was a music business management major. I wanted to go there for MP&E music production engineering, but my GPA was 2.8 or 3.8 or 3. Whatever it was. It was one of the two. But it was like just under the threshold of acceptable to be able to get into the program. So I took the interview, and I got denied. But in the denial, he was I'm not going to name who did it.
Yeah, no problem.
You know who you are.
I love. You're a good guy. I love you. I wish my GPA was higher so I could have spent more time with you. They said you have the most impressive resume that we've ever denied, or that we're ever going to deny, or that I've ever denied getting in. So that was the first time in my life that my GPA hurt me.
Yeah.
Didn't hurt me going into Berkeley, because in high school I had a terrible GPA. Like I didn't even get through statistics.
Wow.
Like
I can't say I would have.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. It's a hard class.
It is.
Barely got through it.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
But to go back to the Valencia thing, I went there to get my master's at Berkeley Valencia, music production, technology, innovation. And while I was doing that, I was doing a residency at an international nightclub there. And so I was kind of doing both those. The problem with the DJing thing was I'm so caught up in grad school, which was like all in all the time, that I didn't have the mental capacity, energy, or time to prep my DJ sets as I normally would.
Yeah.
So I never personally at that one club felt like I played as I should. Like it wasn't up to my standard. I'm sure it was fine. But I did some festivals out there, and since I was an American DJ, I got to headline them.
Very
I think
cool.
I think because of the artists that I've DJ for, and I was an American DJ, and those were whopping. Those were fun. And I was 22 minutes from Ibiza. Like
Ooh,
I could go over the pond in a boat to Ibiza, or I could fly there on a 22-minute flight.
Dang.
Wow.
And so Ibiza was insane.
So you were hot stuff over there in Spain then.
I wasn't hot stuff in Spain. It was just a really good time.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
And their
Humble
clubs
guy.
stay open. Like you leave the club, and people are going to work.
Wow.
And, like you go to the club at like 11, 1, 2 in the morning, and here clubs close at 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally different thing. And multiple clubs in one, like you pay entry to one club, and there's like 3 clubs in one. It's indoor, outdoor, on the beach. It's nuts.
That's awesome.
Like, Europe has a lot over U.S. clubs.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Where's the favorite place that you've lived?
I imagine that's pretty hard to answer. You've been a lot of places, man.
I think the most relaxing has been Nashville.
Yeah.
I think my favorite was Spain, not because of Spain, but because of the people I had with me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
friends make home. The physical place doesn't make the home.
Right.
That's a
Right.
good answer.
And then Ann Arbor, where I'm from originally, is just like, it's just home base.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
guess
man.
I always like, always like, I'm like, man, I miss. It's got all the people and it's got everyone, it's a community. So I don't know.
Speaking of your home in Ann Arbor, I know these guys here, they did their research. And if
Go
I'm
Blue.
guessing correctly, I remember you had a specific pet that I think Evan wanted to ask about.
Yes, I looked through your Instagram and I saw Zach sent me a video of you DJing. I forgot if you were home or something, and you had a bearded dragon or a lizard just chilling with you as you were DJing or as you were mixing some up. And I was just like, I love this guy. And I looked and you had other posts with him, and I'm like, I need to know about this bearded dragon. I need to know all about him.
Tell us about him.
Yeah, so that's my little bearded dragon, Mr. Meeseeks.
Yes.
I love the name.
He's a great guy. I haven't brought him here to Nashville because he's at my parents' house right now. And my dad
Gotcha.
loves him so much that I can't tear them apart.
Oh,
Like
man.
he sits on the windowsill while my dad works at the desk.
That's
You know what I mean?
awesome.
I can't
That's
tear that apart, but he's so friendly. Like you think of a lizard and you're like, or whatever, and you're like, oh, they're squirming around, they're fast,
Yeah.
it's kind of scary. This thing will sit right here, and you just pet his head, and it just closes his eyes and just does it.
That's awesome.
That is
And it's
amazing.
just so nice. He's like the perfect pet.
Yeah. How long have you
sounds
had
so
him?
cool.
2 years, 3 years.
Okay.
3 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, how'd you end up getting
Body,
him?
full size with tail.
That's awesome.
Oh, dang.
Whoa,
Yeah,
he's
just
a
like right
big
here,
guy.
and then the tail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
I was you said how do we get him?
Yeah.
I was currently going through logo revisions, and they asked like, do you have an animal that you want based in your logo or something? I was like, I like dragons, bro.
Yeah.
And 2 hours later, I was like looking up bearded dragons with my brother. And then 2 hours later, I was driving home with the bearded dragon. So
That
Oh
is
man.
awesome.
So did the parents approve?
no, so I brought my dog home when I was in high school. Like,
Oh man, really?
I just went out and got like, so like I used to DJ like my high school like proms and dances and
Yeah.
rallies and stuff. So I was like in the teacher's lounge or whatever, the office, like getting like a paycheck, and some teacher posted like, we have puppies.
Yeah.
And I saw that night. I just went out, grabbed one, brought it home. My mom and dad was like, nope, not gonna happen. And it's like, and then my dad like probably held it or something, and like it's been love ever since. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I just bring home pets and I dish them at my parents' house.
That's the way to do it right there.
That's
But you get to enjoy it. They have the responsibility of taking care of them.
And they gotta pay for it. So
Yeah,
my mom
exactly.
figured that out.
That's almost like not fully like the same, but the turtle that's on the hard
Oh,
table.
yeah.
That's almost kind of how I got him. He was one of my teacher's pets. Shout out to Andy.
Shout out Andy, man. We've kept this thing on the desk ever since that episode, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Andy.
But so obviously through, I mean, most professions and especially music and DJ industry, so you're gonna go through some failures and, or at least I presume, and some things that might, I don't know, kind of drag you down a little bit. So how have you kind of pushed through adversity?
I think like you're gonna fail. and it's like, how many failures are you willing to go through before you like throw in the towel?
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, like dreams broken, 3 denials from radio. Great, that sucked. Didn't get into MP&E at Berkeley, Boston. Well, that's why I went to Berkeley.
Yeah.
So that's a big one there too. And yeah, I mean, it's just there's a handful of others, but like you just gotta keep. I think you just gotta work the problem. Like you go, run into an issue, and like you just gotta work the problem and basically just call an audible and like new plan.
Yeah.
And keep moving. And I think like as long as you keep like pedaling forward, you keep going forward, even if you get stopped every now and then.
Oh yeah, because from your story, it seems like you have a lot of experience with persistence, and just every time you get knocked down, like how you said, the 3 denials from the radio, everything, you just get back up and okay, time to try something new. My GPA isn't what it's supposed to be. All right, I'll make it work. I'll do what I gotta do.
Yep. And it always like because of the persistence, like that's like that led to everything. Like I got denied from that radio show 3 times or radio station 3 times, and then I ended up doing 15 years at the radio station because I knocked and looked through the window on my tippy toes for a DJ show. Will who was doing his show, and he said to come on in, and like persistent. Like I kept coming back after getting denied, and after being said like come back when you're like college age at least.
And you were like 12 when you did that.
Yeah, I was like a child.
Yeah, man. So you've been like pushing it ever since and trying to get that bag ever since you were like 10, I bet.
Yeah, but like, but again, at the sacrifice of everything. Like, I
Right.
wasn't hanging out with friends. Like, I've lost like 4 and 5 year relationships. Like, I've given up like everything I possibly can, and I'm always moving. Like, career first. I'm moving wherever my career goes and takes me, which is every 2 to 3 years.
Right.
Like that first over everything is the reason I'm here. Versus my friends who do it, but also like hang out and also spend their money on other crap.
Yeah.
I just all in all the time.
Being at that age, did you feel like you had to like prove yourself because everyone, I don't know, looked down on you because you were so young?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Very proud of himself.
I mean, I definitely knew my place, right? Like, I was young, stepping into a culture that I wasn't birthed into. Like, I was stepping into a scene that I had no right to be in the first place, and I tried to show respect to it by being the best I could at a section of that culture, which for me was like hip hop or DJing and turntablism.
Yeah.
And since I put everything into like trying to be the best I could at it, I got some respect for it. And I was kind of like this novelty item as this like kid who can actually do it, who's kind of impressive at doing it. And then I was like that kid that kept just getting booked at all these things. And then, so like I've definitely pissed off some DJs, and I've definitely done some stupid things. and it wasn't like I didn't do stupid things because I knew they were stupid and I felt like being dumb. It's because I didn't know any better and I was a kid.
Yeah.
And like, I tried my best and I failed many times. I tried my best and I failed many, many times.
It's fair.
And can't take things back. So,
So if you had to give some advice to your younger self, what would that advice be? I know we're hitting you with the heavy
He's
hitters.
like, man, I don't want to answer this.
It's hard because it's like, how do you talk about someone's life in the span of an hour, you know? Because like you're an interesting person, and obviously you've gone through so much in such a short span of time, especially if you look at careers comparatively, which I mean, obviously we're not comparing to anyone in particular, but I mean, you've done a lot of stuff, and I can't imagine, like you said, making mistakes here and there. What advice do you think stands out to you that you would want to give your younger self?
So what one of my co-hosts and mentor, Chill Will, always told me, he was always like, I don't want to compliment you because I don't want your head to get too big to fit through the door. And you two have probably heard me say that before.
Definitely.
And that's directly because of him. I feel like there's always room for improvement to keep my head from getting bigger, because like I felt like on top of the world for a minute, or like for a while as a kid. And so I wish I was able to cut that back a percentage. And yeah, I probably spend more time with like my brother instead of like, you know, career or something else. Like,
Sure.
I could have probably been closer with him. I probably could have spent more time with my friends. Like, I have this core group of friends back in Ann Arbor who are like my closest friends. Like, we're as close as you can get. And I wouldn't hang out with them because I was like, you guys are like drinking in a parking lot, and I don't want nothing to do with that. Like, that's a waste of my time. And that's, you know, I could have hung out with them a little more than I did.
Totally.
There's probably a better balance of like career versus life, and I missed some life because I just gave everything to career.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So you mentioned like not giving or getting. What did your co-host said he didn't want to give you compliments to make your head too big.
To fit through the door.
Yeah, fit through the door. So you might know Gary Vee, who Gary Vee is. He is a entrepreneur, motivational speaker.
I know. Yeah. Gary,
Okay.
Yeah.
We talk about him quite a bit. But something he says is he tries not to pay attention too much to the, you know, the negative comments or the negative things people say, but also the positive things, and like people telling him he's doing great. He's like, I don't care about that either. He's like, because he just focus on what he's doing and not the outside comments. Because if you listen to the negative things too much, then you might get dragged down. But if you listen, you're doing great. That might cause you to, you know, stop pushing.
Yeah, that's really fair advice, and I think a lot of people let like compliments get to their head for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like to me, like I just forget them immediately. Like I don't even acknowledge them because I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like if someone's like, "Great, like that was the best I've ever seen," or so, I don't know, whatever. Like I'll forget about that in like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
But like if someone's like they give me negative advice, like that's the only stuff I remember.
Yeah.
Or negative feedback.
It's definitely fair. That's something I've had to teach myself over the years, and I'm definitely not perfect at it, especially going to that school. I mean, even being in those classes, and Noah, I'm sure, could probably feel the same way. Once you do something right and you finally figure something out, or you complete a task that you were trying to figure so hard to figure out, you're like, man, finally, this feels so good. And then someone compliments you on it, and you're like, well, thank you, but I want to sit in that, but I gotta forget it now because there's just another thing waiting to absolutely like destroy you. I feel like, at least that's just me though.
Yeah, it's like win, loss, win, loss, win, loss.
Yep, definitely.
Presley, I'm just checking on you again. Making sure you're not dead.
About as quiet.
Looking
as
good with his beard over there.
Oh,
Man.
thanks, man. I grew up myself.
Making sure you're not asleep over there. Haven't heard from you much.
No, I'm kind of forgetting that I'm also a part of this conversation as I'm just taking all of this in.
Well, I gotta say though, this beard that I've been trying to grow in, it's never gonna amount to yours. I try so hard.
You're still going.
I'll get there.
It's pretty close. Like y'all have the fullest beard.
At least y'all can grow.
Yeah, y'all.
I like how he looks at you two, then he looks at us, and he's like, he looks back that way.
Yeah. No lie. Y'all have the fullest beard.
Evan definitely can grow in for sure, but I love the goatee look. That's by far my favorite.
I don't know if I can. If I can, it's not a big one. Like I definitely like. Do you know Duck Dynasty? Like those huge freaking like
Sasquatch.
I mean, not only would I not want to grow anything like that, but it's like I can't anyway. It's like I can't grow no facial hair. I can get a goatee. That's pretty much it.
The goatee's not bad. I gotta say, like the guys here, like Boston and Nashville, have like the best beards.
Oh yeah.
I saw a guy yesterday with a beard down to here. And I stopped him in his grocery cart, and I was like, "Man, you have a great." and he was like, he looked like he could be a little aggressive, so it could go 50-50.
Yeah.
And I'm a big guy, so I can really take him. But then he just biggest smile was like, "Oh, thanks, man." And I was like,
He was there.
"You're not as scary as your beard."
Yeah.
He was in his flannel. He had the axe over his shoulder,
There you
about to
go.
go cut down a tree.
Yep.
Dude, I feel like you meet some of those guys, especially like what I've seen at the studio when we're going to school there. Like you'll see some of those session artists, and you're like, oh my gosh, I do not want to talk to you at all. And then they just have the biggest smile on their face when you go up to talk to them. It's kind of bizarre.
I know this guy named Dave who scares me.
Okay.
Mr. Dave. Oh man, no, Dave is awesome. Let me tell you, he's got the best sense of humor I've ever seen. Super dry, but it's great. It's absolutely great.
His beard scares me. Trust me. He's a big guy and has a big beard, and it just looks. He commands that you respect his authority.
Oh yeah.
And
Because of the beard?
because his beard, I think the beard just makes you a little intense.
Yeah.
Like it just makes people feel
Well,
inferior.
I feel inferior to the full
Yeah.
beard.
Right.
You know?
Noah, you raise your hand.
Yeah, I know they can't really hear me. I just want to say Dave's hat is what scares me.
Dave's
Dave's
hat.
hat.
Dave's hat's what scares you?
The chew marks on the back, and he wears it every day.
The chew mark. I don't.
chew
why,
marks.
why the hat? He has chew marks on his
Not
hat.
seen it?
It's from
I
No.
mean, if it's an edible
Sounds
hat, I
like
don't-
Dave.
It's
You
an
know,
edible hat.
Incredible to Dave.
one of the funnier stories we have from class was one day we had found a picture of Dave online, and we had thought of like a funny prank to play on him, where we put like warning, dangerous man mixes sound like garbage or something. I can't remember what exactly was on it, but we taped them all around the studio
With his Grammy.
with his Grammy, and then we
that's
like
hilarious.
photoshopped NS10s in the background. Which for you guys, if you don't know, that is Elliot's love language. NS10s are amazing speakers, for sure.
Oh, do you have a picture, Noah?
Oh, we have
Oh, yeah,
pictures.
Oh, we have a picture of him. Oh my gosh, you still have it? That's amazing. Yeah, it says if you spot this man, seek shelter immediately. We
He doesn't
photoshopped
look
this
dangerous.
should put that,
He's
like-
smiling.
Yeah.
in there.
On the screen.
We got some pictures that
You think it's the
sent to me
beard?
after.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Like the
weird.
resting face with a beard. I think.
The thing is, though, he's so
Doesn't help.
confident in everything that he deserves to be, right? Like he knows everything so well
He does.
that when you get a basic question, sometimes like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
can I
Yeah.
even reply to you?
Well, the cool thing about Dave too is that like he's very humble as well. Like the guy has a Grammy, but I never hear him talk about it. Like never. In fact, one of the funnier things I thought about just now was he keeps his Grammy above the microwave at the studio. Like it's just sitting on top of the
It's
microwave.
just a thing I have.
It's just you know.
So that
it's just
way-
this little thing.
Every time you eat a Hot Pocket, you'll be reminded.
Exactly. Hot Pockets with Dave's Grammy. That needs to be a hashtag somewhere.
If that's not humility, I don't know what is.
Exactly. Nah, he's a great dude.
So, speaking of the school, I just got to know, how bad of a student was that?
Oh my gosh.
He's honestly probably one of the best students I've had in a while.
No.
Same
Oh, you
same with
you
Noah
don't have
over
to
there.
lie. He's
Yeah,
not
I'm
holding
I'm
you
not-
hostage.
I wouldn't have a straight face. If I wouldn't lie.
We know he's not great with time.
Yeah.
He no, I mean like him and Noah over there, like
Yeah.
questions like actively like there because they want to learn the topic of the day. Like that's the best thing you can look for in a student. And the students who are like, oh, we have to do what today? It's
Looking
like,
at
then
the
why are
clock
you
all
even
the
here?
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're not like into whatever we're going over on the day, like I don't understand what you're doing here. You know what I mean? Like when I was at like Berkeley, like I took like a bunch of engineering because I had a minor in music production engineering, right? So I took a bunch of engineering courses as well in undergrad, and like I took a whole Pro Tools class, and every day I was like, dude, give me everything. Shout out to Jason Stokes, who was like my Pro Tools teacher. He was
Yeah.
like drill sergeant for Pro Tools.
Drill sergeant.
And like I eat it up, man. Like so much info. All I cared about was gathering all the info. And so for me, and just Berkeley kids in general, like all they want is like they're like Berkeley feels like the best kid from every city across the world. My grade had 97 countries worth of people in it. Like
97 countries?
Wow.
Wow.
So like it's as diverse. It's the best picks from everywhere.
Wow.
And everyone's there because they want to get better than everyone else and grow. Like, so we would eat it all up. And then I have students at the university and other places, and sometimes they're not like, they're like, oh, we got to do what today? I was like, dude, I've never met, like, are you kidding me?
You're like, this isn't high school algebra.
Like, who chose to be here? Like, I'm trying to give you tools to be successful. If you don't want to learn how to use these tools and be at such a huge disadvantage, go to, like, any other school. Like, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. At least hearing about you from Zach and Noah, they really liked you as a professor.
Oh, he was absolutely garbage. I don't know
something-
what you're talking about.
But something I heard is that, it was a fun class, but they also learned a whole lot. And that was something, going through high school and college, the best teachers were the ones that you could go in there and you knew you were going to have like a fun day, but also you learned a lot. And that you don't see that a whole lot because it's either like the teachers are really strict and you were there and it's like you can't do anything else but just sit there and listen, or the class is like you're having a lot of fun but you're not learning anything.
Yeah.
And so the happy
Yeah.
medium is great in school.
Yeah, like it should be a good time. It should be realistic. So, like I don't know, like with my background, like people are not like deathly like suit and tie serious.
Yeah.
We're there and we're doing the job, and like that's that. So like if we can have fun, like normal fun and joke around and still learn the same stuff, then that's like preferable. Because like my favorite teachers were like the ones that like I'd go to like venues with and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd be hanging, and yeah, and I'm also like I'm young. I'm pretty young. I think I feel like a kid still, so I'm really close to a lot of my students' age, like university, even my high school students and my nonprofit students and my private students and dark horse students, whatever. So we're kind of like we can like relate. Like I still understand most of the stuff they're talking about. Now when they come in, they're like, you know, with their new lingo that I haven't been able to keep up with for the past 4 years because like I don't have the bandwidth anymore. Like that's when I lose them. But like we're so close in age that like we're kind of on the same page. I just happen to be doing the things that they're trying to do. So it's like it seems to me like the perfect situation. Like I wish all my professors were like that attitude or within the age range that was really close, so we could just be like friends.
Right.
So like I'm just basically friends with most of my students.
Right.
Well, I can definitely attest you are by far the best teacher and guidance I have ever received in any role like that. Obviously, besides my mom. I mean, I love my mama. So.
I was about to say.
I think that's
Yeah,
fine.
but
That's fine.
I do ask this though. I mean, you're teaching university and you're teaching over at the school. I mean, in Michigan and at 28 years old. I mean, what's your teaching style like? How do you approach it, and how do you get through to this younger generation that seems like they're less willing to learn and work?
So I just got sucked into teaching, right? So like I was
Yeah.
before teaching at the university, before Dark Horse, even before Neutral Zone and other nonprofits and stuff, like I was just getting like asked to put on workshops on DJing at like universities or whatever. So I was doing like MIT, like I did Harvard, like University of Michigan, like just putting on like DJing and turntablism workshops. And that's just because like they can probably draw attendance from a DJ that has a list of artists that they all know. Like everyone knows the artists I've probably DJ for because they're pop artists. So like,
Right.
I don't know. It just I think like the DJ resume allowed me to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just based off of that, I guess.
That's super cool.
And I just got sucked
mean,
into teaching, and I love it. Like I never like went out looking to teach.
Yeah.
And I just keep getting sucked into more and more teaching, which sounds like a bad thing, but it's something I really, really enjoy doing. But I
awesome,
never
man.
like was like I'm gonna be a teacher.
Yeah.
It was like I'm gonna go be a professional in this industry, and now I'm teaching all the time too.
that's totally fair. So you do love it? You enjoy it?
Totally, it's a great time. I learned
awesome.
like a lot. Like I learned like in Pro Tools you can do like H or Command H, and you can heal a clip, so you don't even have to like consolidate the clip
Yeah.
if you make a cut in it. I learned that from a class that I was teaching a couple weeks ago. Like so, I'm like learning like new shortcut stuff because I can't implement all these new things into my workflow because I'm on the clock.
Yeah.
And I don't have the time to try stuff. And I'm not just looking up tutorials all day of how to do stuff. And so I'm not getting all these new features shown to me all the time. So I have young folks who are doing that and showing me their new tricks and improved ways of doing stuff
Yeah.
compared to the traditional workflow that I learned.
Yeah.
Wait, so
That's awesome.
I'm gonna have to ask you about that later. Command H for healing a track
Or it's
instead of
H.
consolidating.
Can you look it up or something? It's H or Command H or something. And it's like heal track or something. And it
That's
basically
bizarre.
it's a consolidate clip type thing without needing the cut and the crossfade.
Fascinating.
Heal.
Sorry, guys, that was a
Whatever.
question.
I already know all
Big
this.
audio.
Oh,
guy.
right. You're a big
Pro
audio guy.
Tools,
Shmev's our head audio engineer, in case you didn't know.
Pro Tools Master Race. The heal separation function.
Heel separation. So what? It does a crossfade for you?
Command
or
H.
automatically.
Command H.
Wow. I'll have to remember that.
All right.
Stuff's getting burning hot over here.
I
my
am
gosh.
sweating.
Why?
Shmev?
Are you
He's
not
so
hot?
nervous. No, I'm just joking.
I'm burning up.
What is
It
it, like
is
the
hot in
AC
here.
Well,
in here?
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm in a hoodie and I'm like, I don't care.
I don't see how you're in a hoodie right now.
He doesn't get hot. Well, he doesn't get hot or cold. The dude's like always at a comfortable temperature.
Am I?
In the
Oh, cool.
winter, you wear shorts and a t-shirt, and in the summer, I can see you wearing pants.
There's always that one kid.
Yeah,
I'm that kid.
Goes to school in the winter in shorts and t-shirt.
Dude, that's totally him.
And they're always like, "Oh, I'm not even cold."
Exactly. Oh my gosh, we heard something from Presley.
Oh, hi Zach.
Hey, Presley. How's it going, bud?
Oh, good. How you
With the
doing?
beard.
Pretty good.
And you still bald?
Yeah, he's just there
Yeah,
for the beard.
still bald. Still bald.
Yeah.
You know what's funny too is that when I first met you, Elliot, I was already bald, but when I met these guys, I definitely wasn't.
He had
Really?
hair.
When'd y'all
Yeah.
meet?
Oh gosh.
Man.
I've only known him for a couple of years.
Let's
really.
start with
sorry to
Layton,
hear
who's
that.
probably been the longest.
Yeah,
Like
and
10.
I probably met him when I was
okay.
like 11 or something, like somewhere around
Did I
there.
know you that long?
No, you came like a couple years after.
It's like 14.
Because we all went to the same homeschool band because we're just awkward like that.
We all knew. I knew about you. Awkward.
Awkward turtle.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I met Evan when I was 12 because we got on the same baseball team together. And what's funny about that story is I distinctly remember walking to the field. I was in like my prime, like 12 years old. I
was in my prime at
Dude,
12 years
like
old.
I still don't even think in high school.
Well, he is already bald, so I mean,
But he has such a good beard, it makes up for it.
Yeah. And so
Almost.
like I remember walking on the field and I was like, man, I'm gonna be the best one here. I knew all the kids, I'd seen them play, I knew I was better. And then this guy, I see him jump from a sprint, and I'm like, oh dear Lord Jesus, this guy is gonna smoke me. Now later I did find out you were a year older, but
Yes.
regardless, I was like, dang, now I have to be nice to him.
And,
And here we are, we're friends.
Being yourself, you just walked right up to him, started a conversation like
Yep.
you've known him for years, and there you go.
Zach definitely approached me first. I am most definitely an introvert.
And Shmev, you've
He's
known
so
for
nice though. Like
2 years.
Perfect
Oh, no.
type person to
Thanks.
walk
Oh, no.
up to.
Appreciate that.
I met
Zach's a
Leighton
big teddy bear.
I met Leighton and Presley in like I don't know 2017.
Yeah,
Somewhere
about,
around
there.
how long
Yeah, and
ago is
then-
that now? Like 4 years?
5
Hey,
years.
we're in 2022.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's fine.
Quick math.
It's just math.
Yeah, and then I
gotta
met
figure that
Zach
out.
and Evan
Saying,
through them
that's crazy.
like
Yeah.
a few years later.
Actually met on Xbox.
Yeah, we
Believe it or
did.
not.
What game?
Ooh.
Call of Duty.
Well, we
Touch
first started out in a party, but I think he didn't play COD at the time.
Well,
I-
we really did.
Might have been
Like,
was
Fortnite is
Fortnite.
jamming, man. I don't
It was
care
Fortnite.
what people
Oh,
say.
yeah.
Fortnite.
Oh, yeah.
So you're a big gamer then.
I'm not a big gamer. Like I, if I can play a game like on a weekend to unwind, like
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
I played 3 games yesterday. My dad recently started playing.
Oh wow.
So
That's
he
awesome.
called me. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna jump on Fortnite." And I was like, "Make sure you're updated first." And we played 3 games. First one got a dub. Second one died. Third one dub.
Nice.
Nice.
Wow.
2 for 3.
Yeah.
Dang,
I think I can play like shooter games. I can boogie in some shooter games, bro.
dude. So your dad must be pretty good if he's able to get some dubs with
He's
you.
starting out, but like it's just cool that like someone like our parent
Yeah.
would be playing games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think that's really cool.
So your back probably hurts from carrying him.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
man.
was like, okay, let's get a couple games in before I go play guitar in the studio. He plays electric guitar every night. Like
Oh,
he
that's
just
cool.
jams out and like watches Bonnaroo. Like that's what he does.
That's awesome.
Watches
And,
Bonnaroo.
Bonnaroo. He's like Bonnaroo. You know what I mean?
Dude,
He loves Bonnaroo.
we all
This
need
is
to go
like-
to Bonnaroo then.
Yeah, this is one of the first years he didn't go.
Wow,
man,
But yeah, next year
man,
man.
we'll boogie.
man.
Okay, so because you're a music guy, I just have to ask this because this has been a debate between me, Leighton, and
Oh
Presley
Oh,
for
we know what's
years
happening.
now. I just have to get his opinion.
Do you have
I'm
like
not-
another hour and a half?
Oh my gosh.
Let's
and the Beatles. Thoughts on the Beatles?
Funny story. When I was I love the Beatles. Okay.
Oh, there it is.
So sorry, bud. You're on the opposing side of this. When I was a kid, my mom would play the Beatles all the time for me. So I used to like in kindergarten or something, right?
Yeah.
I would take these little slips of paper that are and I'd cut out and write the Beatles on them and slip them all over the classroom, like in my teacher's desk, in their
What?
books and stuff like that. I don't know why. It was just what it is. The Beatles. I love them, bro. They were cool. So yeah, I like the Beatles. What I don't like is like. Now we're talking about nerdy audio stuff. When stereo first came out, they started doing these Beatle mixes in stereo,
yeah.
and there was no rules. Just like there's kind of no rules for Dolby Atmos right now, like it's the new surround sound, right, owned by Apple.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's do drums hard left, let's do vocals all hard right, bass hard left, like. And so, right now we know like you can hear, like vocals in the center and drums all over. Like we have a good spread,
Right.
and they were just figuring out stereo, so like it was just crazy. So I hate the first stereo Beatles records. They're just awful. They're great teaching examples, awful.
Right.
Beatles in mono was good, remastered or whatever, and stereo is fine, but like, anyways, that's mine.
Yeah, I'm big Beatles guy. I'm like you. My parents grew up listening to it, so that was like, oh man.
Which record?
Probably Abbey Road. My favorite.
Actually, we learned about that in school. Abbey Road EQ.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Explain the Abbey Road EQ.
Oh gosh, dude, you're gonna make me explain this.
It's pop quiz time, Zach. Are you prepared?
Golly, dude.
Oh,
Okay.
you failed.
Abbey Road EQ. It's a boost on 2K.
Nope.
No, boost on 5K.
It's okay. It's been a few months.
Yeah, it's been a while. Anyways, you want to go ahead?
You
and
got it.
explain
What's the Abbey Road EQ after a reverb? The one that apply to
Isn't
after
it,
the reverbs? Maybe
I
it's
know
before.
you cut off anything past 10K.
Mhm.
Cut
Any-
off
yeah.
anything under. Don't kill me.
It's okay. You can do
800,
it.
800.
800?
800. Yes.
And make a what
Golly.
dip?
a 2K dip.
2K dip.
It was a 2K dip.
What also
Yeah.
lives what
Yeah,
also
Shmev-
lives in
Shmev knew that.
2K range?
Yeah.
Why does 2K matter?
That's the vocal range.
Yeah.
Yeah, and why does that matter to humans?
That's like
It's like where our
They hear
ears
the
are
most.
most sensitive. to.
Why are they most sensitive
Oh,
at 2K? Because babies cry around that 1 to 4K, 1 to 3K range. So I think humans are tuned into 2K. So that's where humans hear. So we always like are pushing 2K and vocals and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's very interesting.
And dipping it in other instruments to make room for vocals. Yeah, just because babies are crying. That's what they allegedly.
Well, here's my whole point to why I'm not a big fan of the Beatles.
We got to defend
do this.
ourselves. now.
I think we're on the same page, Leighton and I, with this. It's not so much that we don't like the music or what they did, what they pioneered. You know, we've been into all of this before.
Yeah.
But it's the sound, the way it sounds. I can't describe it. I don't know what it is, but just that era of, I guess, the way it was.
60s music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
60s music in general.
Do you not like tape, bro?
I mean, not really.
I think what it is, I think it's just bad taste in music.
That's just bad taste in music.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like musically, it's great.
What like okay,
But I end up liking modern covers of them more than I do the original, just because of the way it sounds.
okay, well, let's just dive into that. Let's unpack this real quick.
All right, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Is it because of like how it sounds old, or because of like the style of singing or playing, or it sounds thinner, or like it sounds dirtier?
Yeah,
Where are we going? Don't say yeah. That doesn't mean anything.
For me, you're saying yeah.
Oh, okay.
For me, it's not that it sounds old, because there's old jazz songs that I love, and like I like that style of music. I think for me it's just the style, and I guess more so the sound. And like what he was saying, it just has that whole like happy 60s vibe. I don't know.
Leave
it's
it to
hard
Beaver in a sound.
Some of it.
Yeah.
There's some sad songs from the Beatles.
I mean, like,
It's hard
come
to
on.
describe.
Classics like "Hey Jude," "Yesterday."
thank you.
Oh, well,
Here
I,
comes
Hey
the
Jude.
sun.
I like those as songs,
I like the covers of Hey Jude.
and I love Yesterday, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like Presley likes Yesterday as a jazz
As a
classic.
jazz standard, because that's in
Yeah.
the real book that gets called all the
The real
time.
book.
Yeah.
I love when that gets called. It's always fun to play. Lyrics are great, but it's listening to them play it from that original recording. I'm just like, I don't know why I don't like this.
Maybe it's just like the happy-go-lucky sound of it that you don't like that they bring.
Maybe. Maybe I'm just a dark
What are your
person.
thoughts?
I
Maybe
don't
you
know.
just like your music to be darker than your soul.
Maybe.
Well, man.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Pretty happy guy.
I don't hear you playing a lot of happy songs.
What do you like? Like, what do you listen to, bro?
Pretty much anything except for like what we were talking about earlier, that weird era of country where they were trying a little too many things at once.
And you don't like
country rap.
60s.
Like the
yeah,
country
yeah.
rap thing.
Yeah.
There's
It's-
like on that topic. There was a couple of them which I thought were kind of cool. I don't want to cut you off, so keep going, my friend.
No, you're
Oh, you're fine.
There's like Nelly's been doing some country stuff. What do you think about
Nelly?
that?
Wait, Nelly's been doing
Nelly's
country?
been doing country?
Like the Nelly that,
Yeah,
you know.
Nelly.
Yeah.
Like St. Louis.
Skin and honey. That Nelly? Yeah. Jeez.
No, it's hold on.
About to.
Shmev
Okay.
is about to take off.
There are some Toastmasters
It's in here somewhere, bro.
listening that are freaking out.
Don't worry, you'll find it. We're just going to have a quick, awkward silence until you do.
We've had many of those.
Awkward tapes.
Yeah.
You think Ringo Starr was actually a good drummer?
Oh, gosh. That's the debate.
You want to
Well, he's not a drummer, though, but what do you think? Elliot? He's like so tuned out right now.
Why is there no internet? What's going? No connection. That's what's giving me
Basement
away.
life.
Yeah, we're in a basement.
So, what's your,
No
like
comment.
Lane said, what do you think? No comment?
I don't know.
I think he just did what he needed to do.
Yeah, he got the job done. It feels
Yeah.
like, and he had groove
Fair enough.
enough to play with the Beatles. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
like
British.
maybe not. I don't know if he has like amazing technical skill,
Nah.
but he had like enough to like play for the backing band of like the biggest band in the world, or backing of the biggest band in the world. So
Yeah.
that sounds like a good drummer to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
So too much hate.
All right, so we've gone over a bit about your life and your career and things you've done and your advice, and now I'm just kind of curious. I mean, You're very big into coffee right now.
Yeah. I'm feeling the coffee thing.
You
Don't
want
even
to talk
get
a
me
little bit
started.
about that?
You like coffee?
I love coffee.
Okay, go.
About what?
I don't know.
Coffee.
What level of coffee are you at? Are you at like here's like I like to order the white girl special at McDonald's, all the way to like drink it black because black is the color of my soul and that's the way my coffee should be.
I mean, yeah, it's the color of my soul. But that's not the way I like my coffee. So, no, not really. That was a bad joke. I don't like it black. Because, like,
Okay.
gosh, it's so...
Cut.
It's so bitter. I just got that.
There's your clip.
Yeah. It's so bitter. So I need some,
No, we won't cut
I
that
need
out.
some flavor. Like, I'm a big iced caramel latte.
But the coffee is the flavor. The bean, that's the flavor.
So iced caramel latte, that's more like white girl at McDonald's,
Yeah.
like you were saying.
Call me a white girl, man.
You're a white girl.
I have a client that whenever he comes for studio sessions, he calls and he's like, "Hey, what do you want?" I'm beside my Starbucks, and I'm like, "You already know." And then we hang up, and then he goes to the window and he says, "Hey, can I get blah, 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 and then a white girl special?" And that's not obviously the name of a drink, but like
Yeah.
he just says that at the drive-through, and like they all laugh, and then they give him this thing, caramel latte, swirl, whipped cream,
Oh my
sprinkles.
gosh.
Right.
Yeah.
And sweating.
A milkshake
And it's
with coffee.
Beautiful. I mean, that stuff is just like amazing. Like I drink coffee black, right? But like at the way God intended. And then these white girl specials are just great. So I don't blame you.
So you like both ends of the spectrum then?
Yeah, because I'm a sugar addict. Like
I am
I'm,
too.
Captain Diabetes without diabetes.
I feel you. Definitely feel
I had
you.
someone give me a mug once that said Captain Diabetes. Like they made it, sarin or whatever.
I have to
impressive.
have it every day. Like, I get headaches now. It's bad.
Dang.
It's
That's
really
probably
bad.
Because of sugar?
I don't know.
Because
I
the
mean,
caffeine.
I think it's just the
Caffeine
coffee.
withdrawals.
Okay. Are you an everyday consumer of caffeine?
Yes. Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. It is a drug.
Well, that's a problem. You can't do it every day. Because then your body needs this drug to get to normal. And now you're not even getting the effect of, like, you're not getting the boost anymore. And now you've played yourself.
Yep.
You done played yourself. son.
Done played yourself.
I need an AA for
Schmev,
coffee.
get good.
Yeah.
So what you need is more.
Yeah.
Is what he's saying.
Yeah, because then if you double it, then you're getting some boost again. No, I'm just kidding.
Really, it's just a never-ending cycle.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
take
bro.
500 milligrams of caffeine every day.
It is a drug. So it's called an addiction.
Yeah.
What time we at, Noah?
118.
Okay.
118.
Wow.
Anything else, guys?
Well, man, I just got to say I really appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure talking about your life and just everything you've been doing in this business, and we really appreciate you having here.
Yeah. We appreciate you having here.
Yeah, we appreciate you having here.
Appreciate
It's
you
been great.
having here.
That was American. I mean, English.
But
No, that
one
was
thing-
American.
That was American.
That was not English.
One
Doesn't
thing that we want to start doing for our guests from now on is that we want to start giving you a duck. So today you get your choice of whatever Awkward Tate's duck you like on the
this the bag?
table or in the bag.
Is this because you know I have a duck thing?
We have heard about that.
Especially because you have a
Okay.
duck thing. But we're going to start doing this with everybody. You can choose one off the table too if you
Yeah,
like.
that's also
Yeah,
an
you can
option.
have
I don't
whatever
think
you
I
want.
even have to look at the red. It's just camo.
It's
That's-
camo.
Really?
Sweet.
Okay.
You like the
That's
camo?
This is gonna go on my other NS10.
Yeah.
Heck yeah,
'Cause I have
man.
3 pairs of them, so now it's
Nice.
gonna
You
go on
officially
top of
have
that.
an Awkward Tapes ducky, my friend.
That's
Right.
awesome. I appreciate that. That's
No problem. Yeah, we really appreciate you being on. You're like the first guest we've had on this podcast.
First guest
So,
guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what a way to
Guess.
kick it off.
Yeah. Kick it off.
yeah.
We appreciate you having here.
having here in American.
Totally.
Yeah. Whenever you guys want to do the 3-hour nonstop version, I'm down.
The Joe
Yeah,
Rogan.
so,
The
yeah,
Joe Rogan
Rogan
edition.
Joe Rogan
yeah, then we
Deluxe.
can-
I love that.
We can talk about random off-topic things. That's what
yes.
that's what I think.
And you know, we have considered in the future maybe possibly doing a PG-13 podcast. So maybe we might invite you on for that.
If you have something like 2 steps past that,
RR.
Yeah,
RR,
Yeah.
the pirate rating.
yeah.
Thanks again, man. It was a
we
pleasure
appreciate
having
it.
you on. For
Yeah,
real.
very-
All right. The ones listening, thank you guys for listening, or if you're watching, appreciate that too. Join us for episode 40, and until next time, thank you for joining us for a session of awkwardness.